Okay, now I'm showing you what I did next after running this and show you some queries. After the installation is complete, the biggest hurdle is to check MySQL. MySQL is really a troublemaker to configure all the settings of MySQL. So we used to do something like this: sudo MySQL, and it asks for your password, and it says that I'm not going to allow you without the password. So we have to switch to a method where we change the password. There are different ways to do that. One of the ways that is most talked about right now, and I'm going to show you, is to reset the password for the root. So to reset the password for the root, either you can search for this error and find it online, or I can show you the answer directly. Now, to reset the password for the root, you have to log in as a super user to SQL where it does not ask you for any password. And from that point in time, you have to write, so reset root localhost password Ubuntu. This is what you are going to type. And the way in which people would ask is, there are different ways to do that. The easiest way, these are for sure not the easiest way. So the easiest way is this, like get inside to the use password or set new password or something like that. But I'll show you the easiest way. Okay. My mouse was not working. Okay, the easiest way is to get inside and run this command if you can somehow get inside. Right now I cannot get inside because it said access denied to the user. And once this is done, you have to write always the password to get inside. So then you have to write password and localhost. So that's how you would do it. So if I search this, and in fact when you install SQL the first time, it still allows you to goes inside you. But yeah, otherwise you have to use this command. And once you have done that, then you can log in using the SQL root localhost. So once you have done that, you can log in using the SQL host localhost. This computer is giving me a hard time. Maybe I'll reset it. Yeah. So what we want to do is reset the password and then log in as localhost. There are several examples to do that. But one of the ways to become the super user and go inside and change the password. Now when I do something, I don't remember how I did it, but I know what should not be done. So it's a one word line. Yeah, so this one is what should have worked. Let me start my virtual machine again. This one is what should have worked, and this is password. And when it says that, this guy said that, oh I did this, oh I did that, and they say that sudo mysql you root. This is how I would log in. I'm going to copy this and open my drive.google.com and put it in my SQL notes. So setting up SQL is a big part of it. And getting into SQL would be using these commands. And if you lose your password, then sometimes you have to follow a long route to display it. I think it was something like this: sudo root change password. So I would search change password mysql root Ubuntu, something like that, and then I will see how to do that. They are saying go like this, mysql root, but this sometimes does not work. I think it was sudo something and then directly change the password. So let's see. So right now if I write sudo mysql and it asks for mysql and said access denied. What I generally do is I'm going to search this. This time I'm going to close all those browsers because they have given me a hard time. And I'm going to search this and it's directly a new password that I'm going to use. Yes. Okay. After installation, this is the way. So let me copy it. And let me see. So still not working. Access denied. Using password. But this is the old way of doing it. This is the actual way of doing it. And once you install it for the first time, you don't have anything going. Okay, so I'm going to make another video on how to reset the SQL password if you miss it. But yeah, otherwise you have to go through this long way. But I knew a shorter way where you would just do that directly. But they are saying to stop SQL, do a lot of crazy stuff. I remember that it was mysql and just write whatever you want to get. Okay, but when you do it the first time, it's not going to happen because when the first time you log in, it's not going to bother you on that. So once I have that, and I'm going to use SQL install tutor point. So once I have that, once I have SQL and I have the password, then I have to run the queries that they have given for import. So let me show you how that would work about. In the meantime, I'm going to open my notes. So this is called import. It is called import because we are importing from SQL and pushing it to HDFS. So when I run this command, I have to change here to the database name, here to the table. And if I don't have any password requirement, then I don't have to do that, but generally I have a password requirement. So we have to write -p, which is a change that. So whenever we write root p, we have to write this change p and then it works. So I have to do that and then I can see and go inside the Hadoop file system and see what is inside. Then we have export. You can see that export is exporting something. So here you have to use db create table, export localhost. The following command is used to export the table, which is an EMP data on the Hadoop file system. So you say where do you want to export and then you give the folder. And when you export, the data should be in comma separated values. Otherwise, it gives an error. So that is import and export. And we have scoop job, which is to create a job that we can run later. Code gen, eval. So eval is like query anything specific from that folder and so on. I'm going to show you how it looks like on the Hadoop file system. So first I'll See if JPS is working. If it's wrong. So there is nothing. So I'm going to start my Hadoop file system and then open Hadoop and check it. Because when we are doing any these import, export or eval, those tables should exist on the Hadoop file system. So when we look at this query, execute against the respective server and result in the console. So this is the JDBC driver, this is the username, and it goes here to query. And right now, it just queries and gives you the output. Now once you have that, you can also use scope to insert inside that table. And then you can see that you can do that. So this is not actually bringing it from the Hadoop file system. This is still querying it in the DB database. And you have list of tables and list of databases. So list of tables will give you the list of table. In your MySQL databases. This is kind of crazy. If you want to use MySQL, we can do MySQL directly. Why do we need to use scoop? Okay, then they have questions and answer. Like scoop, interview, question and so on, which we are not going to do. So this was a gentle introduction to scoop. I hope you liked it.